background in this area here.
Okay.
Where you're standing, approximately here, was where the original church was built. It was the Italian community of Montclair wanted to have a church that would meet its own specific religious needs. While of course the Mass was still said in Latin, there were many things that was still in the were already in the vernacular. For example, at a Mass, a sermon would be given in the language of the people. And there were other devotions such as benediction and missions and other devotions that were done again in the language of the people. And the Italian people in this area wanted a place that they could have their own native language and customs continue. And so they built the small church, approximately where you're standing. It was a wooden church, and it was not yet quite complete. In September of 1907, when Father Paul Lisa, the first pastor of the parish, said the first Mass on September 8th, 1907. It was not until 1915, however, that the church was formally incorporated according to the laws of the incorporation of the state of New Jersey, as every parish now has to be. So it was probably somewhere around that time that the incorporation was deemed necessary for all the parishes. But we had been in existence, as I said, as a parish for 8 years already. And Father Di Santolo, I don't remember what his first name was the first pastor under the incorporation. Which had grown the church, so they wanted to build a larger church, a more permanent structure than a wooden structure. So in 1937, the cornerstone was laid for this church under Father Salvatore Medaglia, who was the pastor at the time. He was pastor from 1933 to 1943, when I believe he passed away. And the church was built here next to the old church, and of course the rectory as well, all in the same architectural style, which I believe is called Franciscan Gothic. The bell tower itself reminds me of the bell tower in Assisi, the Basilica of St. Francis. And even though the priests here have been diocesan priests and not Franciscan priests, it was chosen, a Franciscan Italian Gothic style was chosen for this church. And of course eventually the rectory was torn down. The church rather was torn down. Where the rectory was, I don't remember. Now I'll take you inside the church, which was, as I said, begun in 1937 and then formally consecrated in 1939. What makes this structure Gothic are the pointed arches. That is a feature of the pointed arches. In fact, today is the feast of St. Denis. And it was in the chapel of St. Denis in Paris. Often they had an enclosed garden, and that's called an atrium. Familiar with the atrium in different architectures. Maybe more light in here, but the windows up at the top, that in architecture, the upper story like that of windows is called the clear story. That's spelled C-L-E-R-E-S-T-O-R-Y. The upper windows depict mysteries of the Rosary. These particular ones are the joyful mysteries, and these the sorrowful. And then we have more toward the front that depict the glorious mysteries. St. John the Baptist and the Sacred Heart. Now we have side niches with different saints. On the left, the saint, the sister looking at the crucifix. That's Saint Rita of Asha. Saint Rita, if you look close to her, at her, you will find there is a red mark in the middle of her forehead. She's not Indian. She is an Italian saint. And according to the story, she wanted to share the passion of Jesus Christ. So Jesus, from that crucifix, that she held, or one that was suspended, I'm not sure which, spoke to her and said, if you want to, I will give you some part of my suffering. And one of the thorns from his crown of thorns came from the crown and embedded itself in the forehead.